Welcome back. We're here with Matt, who is the Director of Travel and Tourism Policy for the Ohio Chamber. Matt, we met about 2 weeks ago at a Ohio Chamber event. Super excited to have you on the podcast. So thank you so much for coming on to chat with us about all this stuff. So thank you.
Hey, Easton, thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's great to be here. We've had a really great year for the Ohio Chamber of Commerce. In fact, we just got named the #1 chamber in the United States by
Wow.
the National Council of State Chambers. And we get to talk tourism today. We're having another great year for tourism in the state of Ohio.
Yes, and I would love to dive right into that topic. What do you think makes Ohio such a great place for people to come travel to? That are just looking for things to do.
Yeah, we're easy to get to, we're easy to get around, and we have truly friendly, welcoming people. I actually, before starting at the Ohio Chamber of Commerce, worked as state tourism director under both Governor Kasich and Governor DeWine. And every survey you saw, one of the top things that people liked about our state is how welcoming we are in the state of Ohio. We got great cities, great sports teams, great rural areas, great hiking, incredible amusement parks, zoos, so much to offer. But the one thing that stands out, wonderful people that welcome our visitors.
Yes, and I think when people are traveling or looking for places to travel, they never think of Ohio. They think of New York, they think of Miami, they think of Vegas, or they might even think of places outside of the US. What do you think like Ohio has to do to kind of put themselves on the map to be next to like a New York or a Miami?
Yeah, what we find when people visit Ohio, they love our state and they want to come back. In fact, recent surveys show that 93% of those people who visited Ohio last year plan to come back in the next 12 months. We got to get them here. We got to get them here. We got to tell our story. I'm actually very happy to say one of the initiatives of the Ohio Chamber of Commerce has been to get more dollars to market Ohio as the heart of it all. And that helps get people to visit, and then they'll want to live and work in our state, helps our state grow. And we just got a great product, but we got to make sure people know about it and get them here.
Yeah. And thinking into the future of Ohio's travel and tourism in the next, let's say, 5 years, where do you think it's going to be at?
Yeah, hopefully up. And we've seen a trend ever since COVID. Each year after has been more and more visitors to the point of where in 2024, the numbers just came out. We had a record number of visits across the state of
Yes.
Ohio, 242 million visits, 242 million visits, generating $57 billion. It's
Wow.
billion, $57 billion. That's people coming for our retailers, restaurants, lodging, attractions. And that survey, anyone that travels more than 50 miles for something they don't normally do counts as a visit, counts towards those numbers. And that's it's pulling in a lot of people to our state.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think it's exciting to see Ohio become a place where people are recognizing as the place to go or as a place to take a vacation versus, as I mentioned earlier, with the bigger cities. So it is exciting to see that initiative. And then also on the small business side of just bringing in all that money as well to support the economy in Ohio.
Well, and it certainly connects the small businesses. When you get visitors to our state, they're bringing new money and they're usually spending it. They're going to Main Street. They're spending
Yeah.
it. They want to see local restaurants, authentic experiences. And actually, one of the really interesting trends we've seen in the last about 4 years now is the growth in rural areas across the state by visitors. Hocking Hills is getting national attention
Yes.
as the top state park, not only in Ohio, but it often gets rated as one of the top state parks in the United States. We've seen growth in Amish country, and then we've seen a number of small business owners invest in those areas. A lot of short-term rentals, a lot of Ohio people have started owning, operating short-term rental properties like Airbnb and Vervo in the Hocking Hills and also in that Amish country area. And we're seeing consumers that really like that, seeking it out, having great experiences, coming back and really helping transform those economies.
And you've touched on it a little bit about the small businesses and their impact, but can you kind of dive a little deeper on why you think small
Yes.
businesses play such a huge part in that, you know, like retention of people coming to Ohio?
Yeah, because they want authenticity. It's certainly high on the list for a lot of travelers. When they're in Ohio, they want to eat, drink, and buy things that are made in the state of Ohio. We see that a lot. One of the greatest examples, one of my favorite commercials that we did, and that was part of my role as state tourism director, is I got to work on the commercial for the state of Ohio with the governor's approval
Amazing.
every year that would air and get people on and visit our state. Well, in the 30-second commercial one year, we featured Tom's Ice Cream Bowl in Zanesville, Ohio. It is a place that's been family owned. It's been there for a few decades. It still has that old diner feel to it, and they give you some of the biggest scoops of the best ice cream that you'll ever find. Well, I'll tell you what, that was the hit of the commercial. And we had plenty of other interesting things in there. You know, we had the Cedar Points and the rock halls and some major attractions. So it was overall a really great commercial. But Tom's Ice Cream Bowl stood out. And when I had a chance to go and sample a little ice cream myself, I try to make it every year. But we had a chance to talk to some of the employees there and like, oh yeah, people are coming from, multiple states away.
Wow.
They saw the video and, thank you guys. And that was just such a great feeling. We're giving visitors a great experience because they got to go have what I think some incredible ice cream, right, and a true, authentic Ohio experience. And we're helping change that for a small business. We're helping them get even more business that really helps change the course of their year. They had a really good year that year.
And I like the positive back and forth that you guys have with small businesses. Where obviously in that video you
Yeah,
you promoted that small business. It drove them a lot of business, but also those small businesses help drive, like economic success toward Ohio. So I I really like how
yeah.
you guys take like this positive of like, hey, like we're gonna help each other. It's not a one-sided street, but let's all work together.
A rising tide lifts all boats. Very true in the tourism industry. I'll give an example. The Cleveland area might be a Browns game or a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame visit
Yes.
that gets someone to come there. But if they're really going to experience Cleveland, they're going to end up down the street at a restaurant like Melt, something that's pretty unique to the area, and maybe trying some local Cleveland beers. The brewing companies that are up there are pretty amazing. Great Lakes Brewing is one of my favorite, and that's what makes the experience stand out. And I really enjoy that because now it's Ohio businesses who are being funded and continue to grow, employing Ohioans and pulling more visitors, which is more new money into the state. In fact, I'm going to give you a stat here.
Yeah.
$4.7 billion. That's the amount of state and local tax that was generated by visitors
Wow.
in the state of Ohio last year. That goes to pay for a lot of things that residents would otherwise have to pay for with taxes if we didn't have those number of visitors coming into Ohio.
That's amazing. That's awesome. And I think it's exciting, and I think important or crucial to make these citizens and to make other small businesses aware of like, hey, there is an impact with what you're doing. Like you're not going unnoticed. Like your work in the
Yeah.
community is something that is actually feeling the entire state.
It's exactly right. And earlier I talked about the welcoming people being at the top of the reason.
Yeah.
When you find that in small businesses, my family loves to go to canoeing each year. We like to be on the rivers. There's a local canoeing place in Columbus that we truly enjoy, and one of the reasons we like going there is because the staff always takes the time to talk to you about. It's at Darby Creek, and um, the enjoyment that they have. Talked about the river, talked about the location. It's stuff that you get when you go to local businesses. We find that a lot with Airbnb hosts that are Ohioans who have opened up properties across the state for those to come in and stay at. The host can interact with the guests. They give them tips on local restaurants. Usually those that are truly local to the area, authentic to the area, and that helps everyone has a better experience. Yeah, small businesses are the backbone of the
Yes.
tourism industry. They work really well with those larger groups that help bring people in, but it takes small and large businesses for the visitor to have a great experience.
Yes, it does. And you've actually mentioned all three of these places. If you could
Yeah.
only choose one place to visit in Ohio out of Cedar Point, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Hocking Hills, which one would it be and why?
Oh, they're so different. You can't do that to me, Easton. They're so different. These are three of my favorites, but the experience is totally different. Um, Right now, the Rock Hall is doing a special exhibit. See, you got to go back to them time and time again, right? Their special exhibits dealing with Saturday Night Live, 50 years of music on Saturday Night Live. So cool. So I was just up at the Rock Hall last year. I need to go back again because I haven't seen this exhibit yet. I want to learn about all the musical acts on Saturday Night Live. That's such a different experience from going to the Hocking Hills and going to see some incredible waterfalls. In fact, even seasonally, you'll go in and after a big rain in the summer, you'll see a beautiful waterfall at Hocking Hills, places like Old Man's Cave or Ash Cave. Ash Cave's one of my favorites. It's a big recessed area with one of the tallest waterfalls that are there. You go back in the winter, after a couple of really cold days, those waterfalls have frozen in these giant ice sculpture, like just beautiful. And you can't even compare summer and spring in some of the destinations. Um, yeah, those two stand out. Cedar Point's always adding something new. My family was up there earlier this year. Got to ride Top Thrill 2. Awesome. Got to go back to ride Siren's Curse. Brand new coaster that they opened up
Yes.
that takes you to the very edge, tilts you over, holds you for a second, then releases you so you go zooming through it. It's the only coaster I haven't rode in the state of Ohio yet.
Wow.
Looks awesome. Can't wait to make it back up there. But I think that's what's so interesting about the tourism industry. They're all special in their own way, and they're always adding something new that you can go check out.
So you wouldn't choose one? There's not one where you're like, if you're coming to Ohio, you need to go see X thing.
Go see all if those three should be on the list together.
Yeah.
Those are three of the
Okay,
top
that's
three
fair.
right there. Yeah.
That's definitely fair. And one of the events that is coming up is on September 22nd, the Ohio Chamber Future Forum. What are you most excited for about this event?
Yeah, that's right. So it's travel and transportation that I work on. So the tourism and transportation side. I'm excited because we get to showcase some of the really cool automobiles and aerospace that's being built in the state of Ohio. So what do I mean? The new Honda Zero Series, including their saloon. This thing looks like a old school Knight Rider race car that has zero emissions, electric powered, and goes super fast. We're going to have one of those on site. Can't wait to check it out. And then we have many companies that are building in the aerospace. Joby Aviation is building flying taxis.
Yes.
That's happening right now. He's got a huge order that's being built in Dayton, Ohio, and it's not too long before we will see. They look like drones, giant drones capable of carrying 4 or 5 people. Not before we see those in the airways. This type of stuff, it's the future for them, but in a lot of ways, the future's now, and it's being built in Ohio, and we get to showcase it at this event Monday, September 22nd, at our offices in downtown Columbus, and then also at the State House right across the street.
And can you dive
You
up?
can register
Yes.
ohiochamber.com at events if you'd like to attend.
Yes, please do. And can you dive deep, like a little bit deeper into the flying taxi part? Because I feel like when I heard that, I'm like, what do you mean flying taxis? Like in the Jetsons? Like that's in the future, and you're saying that that's now.
Yeah. No, they have a working product, and it's so the company's called Joby Aviation. It's a California-based company, but they recently worked with the state of Ohio. Ohio Chamber was supportive. Jobs Ohio put some dollars in, where their major manufacturing hub is going to be just outside of Dayton. It's nearly complete. And what it will be producing is it looks just like a drone. So what you see when you look out your window and you see drones flying, looks like a drone. So the propellers, but it's whisper quiet and it's large enough that a pilot and 4 people can
Wow.
sit in it. And the propellers take you up and then they turn and they push you forward. And the idea is that it is going to be able to take someone within 10 to 100 miles. They're even working on longer range than that. Um, They've had one test flight happen in New York City where the idea there is that someone who needs to get from downtown to the airport for them to be able to get their flight, one of the options. But you can think of multiple options around the world, and they are selling them worldwide, where someone may need to go 10 to 100 miles fairly quickly, that these will be amazing options.
Yeah, this sounds great for like downtown travel too. Like just looking to get like like around like the downtown area without dealing with a lot of the like the traffic and such.
That's exactly what they're thinking. They're thinking downtowns and working with airports and the space. Um, you need somewhat of like a heliport type structure for them to be able to land and take off, and then FAA approval. All of that is being worked on now. It's why it's part of the future for them, but I can tell you they do exist, and it's only a matter of time before you see them in our skies.
That's exciting. And I have two more questions for you, Matt.
Sure.
When a lot of people look at you, they see a very successful, confident man. What is one personal goal or habit that you are working on right now to better yourself?
Hey, I appreciate that. So I really do appreciate that. I'm going to be a little humble here for a moment. I'm getting older. I've always enjoyed working out and trying to stay in shape. I think that's helpful. Find something that, when it comes to working out, find something that you enjoy doing. I like playing basketball. I've had to change it up a little bit. As you get older, you just can't do the stuff that you used to do before. So trying to figure out in my routine what fits. I've added in yoga.
Love it.
It helps my body feel good and it helps me be able to play. And I've had to cut back the amount of basketball I play, but all of that, right? Finding something that you enjoy, I think it's probably the secret to life. Finding something you enjoy and being able to do it that then also benefits you. Um, that's the right way to do it.
I love it. And I think yoga is a hidden gem.
It, I'll tell you what, it makes my body feel so much better afterwards. And there are so many different types. you see, you think of yoga and you see someone twisted into a pretzel. You don't have to do that. There's plenty of beginner yoga out there. Trust me, I can't get into most of those poses.
Yes.
But just to be able, even through the beginner to intermediate, the stretches that it takes you through, and they always call it a practice because everyone's always working to get better, even the experts to get better at yoga.
Yes.
It's all about making your mind and body, your personal goals. I think that's helped me out a lot. I really do. I think that's helped me out a lot in staying in shape as I get older.
That's beautiful. I have one more question for you, Matt.
Sure.
If you could have dinner with two people,
Yeah.
one person from the past and one person from the present, who would it be and why?
Yeah, great question. I'm going to start with present, and it's actually someone I've met, but I would love to have more time with them, and that's Jack Nicklaus,
Okay.
one of the best golfers of all time, also the engineer of the Muirfield Village Golf Course, where they play the Memorial Tournament every year, and he hosts that tournament. I loved it. And he's like all those connections to Ohio and Columbus. Like, how'd you do it? Your pride in being an Ohio guy. I've heard him speak. I'd love to sit down and just have a really detailed, good conversation with him. I think that'd be amazing. Um, from the past, oh man, there's so many options. I think Einstein would be a truly Albert Einstein would be a truly interesting, great dinner. The guy who just thought so differently about everything else. Um, and that's not easy to do. It's
No,
not
it's
easy to
not.
do. And I would just want to I would want to just sit back and listen to him. Not necessarily all the details because I'm going to get lost when you get into that much science. But how did you have the fortitude to put yourself out there and propose some of these insights that change the world? And then how did you react when people reacted negatively or positively, and ultimately to the point of where we all see it as world changing now?
Awesome. Two great people. I love it. Well, Matt, those are the questions I have for you. How can people find you? And what is one thing you want to leave people with?
Yeah, let's start with one thing I want to leave people with. There are so many great things to do in the state of Ohio. Ohio is the heart of it all, and the state runs a website, ohio.org. So, all the things we've talked about here on ohio.org, plus many, many, many more that you can use to plan your next vacation. And yeah, I want to see Ohioans traveling in Ohio too. Um, Houston, what was the other thing that you'd asked me?
Um, how can people find you?
Oh, yeah, ohiochamber.com. You'll find all the events that we talked about, including the Future Forum. To register there, you'll also find my contact information. It's MacLaren at ohiochamber.com, or you just reach me at ohiochamber.com.
Yep. And LinkedIn is also great as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
So, Matt, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate you sharing your expertise, your knowledge in the tourism space, just about Ohio, how to make Ohio better, what Ohio is doing. And just thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for all you do for small businesses and for the state of Ohio.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.